So this cusping period, right, is about this awakening energy. Aquarius is revolutionary. It's about individuation. It's radical. It's innovative. It is connected to the one mind. It's connected to the Akashic records. It's about enlightenment. And these energies started to reveal themselves in the 60s in the Cultural Revolution. So that would be how I would answer the question, is I feel like that was when we really started shifting deeper into this birthing of this age. So we truly are the wayshores, or the pioneers, or the midwives of laying to death the last 2,000 years of the age of Pisces and birthing this new age of Aquarius. So we can trust, we need to trust the chaos. We need to understand that there is meaning in the madness, that we are no separate than nature. And what happens in the fall? Everything dies. The leaves wither and they go into the underworld of the compost and they have their magical metamorphosis, and then they're reborn in the spring. We are doing this as a humanity, and we have to have something pretty dramatic to shock the collective consciousness into mobilization, into that alchemical transformation of the entire world. And so this is where it can, if and when it feels kind of scary, that every day on the news, something else, another storm, an escalation of war, we have to remind ourselves that there's something alchemical going on that's part of the process. The great Carl Jung, one of my most amazing teachers, he didn't assume that this union of opposites would be smooth passage into higher consciousness. And when I say union of opposites, I'm referring to those fish that were in duality, us coming back into unity consciousness. I mean, look at where we are on the planet. I mean, the division is just off the charts. So we know that we're perpetuating that original wound so long as we are blaming, projecting, fighting, all of the ways in which humanity is just still so asleep. So one of his famous quotes, that the shift into the eon of Aquarius means that man will essentially be God and God man. This signs pointing in the direction consist in the fact that the cosmic power of self-destruction is given into the hands of man. So this is where I feel very strongly that we have a responsibility as the awakened dreamers to dream the new dream. We don't want to get up into the narrative or the dream of war. From the highest perspective, this is all an illusion. This is all a Maya. And we know that whenever we are really attuned to truth, universal wisdom, we are one with God consciousness. We are made in his representation. And therefore we have the attunement to infinite creativity, positivity, abundance, support to create this new landscape. So we have to remember that where our focus goes, because we are literally creating with every thought, action, and deed, is what we're perpetuating or what we're creating. So this goes back to this whole notion of the master's level of walking the tightrope of duality, not falling asleep to some of the nefarious agendas that are occurring, so that we can be awake, aware, and wise of how to navigate, how to mitigate, how to alchemize, and yet putting a majority of our focus onto all the amazing upgrades, all the incredible miracles, all the new technologies, all the synchronicities. The more we focus on the magical side of the light, the more that will permeate the earth grid. And this, yes, is part of the prophecy, in the Christian Bible, it talks about this is the time of the return of Christ. It, yes, absolutely is. And of course, it is not literal. It is about the Christed consciousness within, that internal awakening through our central channels. Literally, humanity has been asleep. We've been in a matrix level of reality. Our kundalinis have been sleeping. And this return of Christ consciousness is part of the Aquarian myth, the paradigm that we are all creating and experiencing, which is the activation of our inner technology, our chakras, waking up that pineal gland. Yes, we have been strategically calcified there, and connecting directly to the light, to source, to God, whatever your terminology is. And when we do that, we create a toroidal field. We are transceivers here to transmit and to receive. And the more of us that are doing that, then we actually elevate the entire earth grid. And so this is such an exciting time. This is such an intense time. It's all of the above. Now we will turn towards this epic year 2025. And so here, again, we're just going to go through the first 6 months. Here are our themes. First of all the outer planets are changing signs. Okay, so Pluto changed signs last year, 2024. But aside from that, every other planet is changing signs. That is historically like epic beyond belief. In my research, I found that the last time that Many planets change signs was in early 1700s, and it was only 3 planets. So there is not a time in history that we are aware of when 4 planets, with Pluto barely, like just a few months before, changing signs. The outer planets are the transpersonal planets. That means they affect us collectively. When they're shifting into a new vibration, that means that we're shifting collectively. Well, it's a big deal when just one of them shifts. So to have all of them shift, this is where we know that this year, historically, may be the most epically colossal, radically innovative experience of our lifetime, for many lifetimes, for many decades, for even the millennia. If you think about the things that are coming into our field right now, they're mind-blowing. This is more like a science fiction movie. So that is paramount. We're going to have the nodes of fate shifting into Virgo Pisces, which, as I mentioned before, is the existential axis. We'll talk briefly about some retrogrades, and then we're going to bring it to a close there with some remedies. So again, always wanting to look first at the microscope, the larger cycles. We're going to start with Pluto. Pluto has now moved into Aquarius, and Pluto is the furthest planet. Pluto takes 248 years to go around the zodiac. Okay, it's the slowest, and it's the most powerful. Pluto rules transformation, the underworld, alchemy, powerlessness. It rules the deep subconscious. It rules all of the shadow. And whenever it moves into a new sign, it brings with it this unearthing energy, which can be quite violent and sudden, which it brings the shadow to the surface. So it was in Capricorn before it moved into Aquarius, and it moved into Capricorn in 2008. That was the financial collapse. Capricorn rules our system. Well, now that it's in Aquarius, Aquarius rules humanity and our consciousness. It also rules technology, because Aquarius, again, remember, out of age of Pisces duality into unified consciousness, organismic consciousness, where we're all operating as an organism. We all remember we're one energy. Pluto moving into Aquarius, it's going to transform humanity, transform consciousness. It also is going to bring the shadow up of consciousness and of our humanity. It's also bringing the shadow up within technology. This is technology. The World Wide Web is an outer manifestation or reflection of our collective consciousness. So we can expect disruption, instability in our systems. Again, we're still in this purging process of coming out of the 2,000 years of corruption within this patriarchal, hierarchical paradigm. There's going to be revolutionary shifts in power. We're already seeing that. There's going to be a continued alchemical process within the power structures of bringing more and more of the shadow to light, and then transforming, alchemizing. And it's going to be in Aquarius for 20 years, till 2044. It's the last of the outer planets to enter Aquarius. So if anybody's curious, yes, we are fully here. That's something that we can trust. It's a lot like the storm in a lot of ways. And it's sort of like, Pluto makes us face our shadow, which is essentially our fears. It is our wounds, our complexes. And so we're all going to be, continue to be called to the carpet to do our own inner alchemy. If we want to see a different hologram, then we know that the universe is actually within. So it's kind of like this experience of nothing gets through. I know if you're like, oh my God, are we done yet? I thought I'd already dealt with this. We do it in phases, right? We do it in cycles. We do it when the planets say we do it. And Aquarius rules our mind. It rules our consciousness. It rules our higher mind. So it's also going to empower us in that way, bring a lot more enlightenment in that way, but also it's going to bring to the surface any old wounds, complexes, addictions that have been sort of tucked away, that have been hidden, or that we've denied or repressed. We've kind of already touched a little bit about this, but this is really, Aquarius, all of this advancement in robotics, the exponential growth of AI, personality cloning, which we're going to have a little interesting video here in just a moment on that as well. It's a whole new world. I mean, this is why we're being called to be, these brave new spiritual warriors, the cryptocurrency whole uprising. All of this is very implicit in this true arrival into the Aquarian age, and we're going to see it accelerating massively this year. And so we're going to take a moment to watch a little video, and then we'll visit about it.
Did you know AI is cloning human personalities?
Stand by to engage neural probe.
Uploading our minds to the cloud remains science fiction.
You've transitioned to a synthetic body.
But we're inching closer to reality. Scientists recently created AI agents that can mimic your personality with 85% accuracy after a 2-hour chat. Looking for a new best friend? Imagine bantering with an AI version of yourself. Experts predict 1 in 10 people will have a digital clone by 2030. Beyond creating a virtual doppelganger, this tech could revolutionize everything from job interviews to preserving memories of loved ones. Some see it as a path to digital immortality, while others view it as the next AI threat to humanity. As scientists unveil another groundbreaking technological advance, the question lingers: are we prepared for a world where AI can think and act just like us?
So I don't know about you, but I'm not going down that path. I know that a lot of people are really concerned about this, and I think it's worthy of concern. This is where we kind of keep coming back to this notion about this bifurcation, this real separation in consciousness that's happening. There's going to be a lot of people that think that's a great idea, to have microchips that can prevent disease or, enhance their personality and their productivity. That's personally not going to be my first choice, and I'm going to be staying human. So I'm curious what you feel about that. Crypto, yes. So crypto is definitely, again, implicit in this shift into the age of Aquarius. It's very metaphoric for this new age because it embodies decentralization, innovation, collective empowerment, where the interconnected systems replacing these hierarchical control systems that really fosters more equality and shared purpose. This is about transparency and trust, right? The blockchain's transparency reflects the Aquarian focus on authenticity and truth, integrity of shared systems. It's also upholding freedom and independence because it enables financial autonomy and liberation from any of the traditional banking systems, which are, we know that the economy and the traditional economic systems are in also this process of collapse and transformation. So if you haven't looked into or gotten on board with this whole crypto emergence, I highly suggest that you do, because it really feels like it's central to the future and it's not really going to go anywhere. So the more that we can kind of tiptoe our way into it, I think the better off that we're going to be in the future. Yeah. Yes, potential for reform. It is definitely experienced exponential growth, and Bitcoin's emergence, setting the foundation with other innovations like Ethereum introduced into smart contracts, fueling a lot of broader adoption. And so, yes, there is a bit of volatility in there right now, but there is support. There are great people teaching. I'm actually in a crypto class right now. If you're interested in me sharing that information with you, just feel free to reach out and I would be more than happy to. Also, our Shift Foundation has a Telegram group, a Lighthouse Crypto group. If you're interested in that, we have bi-monthly calls and we're kind of just like all learning together, but we have some people with more experience in our group that help guide. So that's been really awesome. All right, so Pluto return of the United States. Well, countries, nations also have astrology charts, have birth charts. And so we are in the United States in our Pluto return. Remember, Pluto takes 248 years to go around the zodiac. That 248 years ago was 1776-ish. And so it was a time of global revolution. The French Revolution was also taking place. So it's revealing the shadow, right? It's totally been revealing the shadow of our politicians and of our, of our leaders in all of the ways in Hollywood and everywhere. Everything is just oozing. This dross is coming up for this necessary purging that's going on. And so we are really being reborn as a nation right now. This transformation of the nation is upon us. Again, there's this real extraordinary historical convergence of cycles happening, not just collectively, but also spiritually directly for the United States. And I would imagine most of the people watching this are here with me. So, we understand that astrology is a history of cycles. So we can say, well, when was the last time, that Pluto was in Aquarius? And here's some of the more recent and even further back experiences of this ingress. I mentioned already the American Revolution in 1776, the French Revolution in 1532 or 1553, the split from Henry VII, splitting from the Catholic Church, the Spanish smallpox. So you see the repeat of themes with the pandemic. Oh, excuse me, I didn't say that. And the wars, the violence. This is the alchemy, the Black Death, the Constantine in Rome converting to Christianity, the fall of the Second Temple. All of these happened historically when Pluto moved into Aquarius. So now you can kind of scan the landscape of what's going on in our collective, and you can glean the resonance of the archetypal semblance. And this is the power of astrology.